everybody, and welcome back to Project Life Weekly. Last week, I shared with you my large print order and how I print my large photos. I filmed this piece, this video that you're seeing here, before I received that order. So you're going to see as I flip back through my album here that my large photos are not in here, but they are actually in here for real. Like in real time they are. So I wanted to get March set up. So I have March opened up here and I want to get back on track. I am really struggling with Project Life right now. I don't know why. It's one of my absolute favorite projects. And as I flip back and I look through what I've done, I know for sure that January did not exactly come out how I wanted it to. The vision that I had of like that rainbow feel of colors, it didn't exactly come out that way. February definitely came out better. And then I had put together this little tray of stuff for February. And these are all of the things that I reached for. And that really did help. But I tend to struggle doing this. I really tend to struggle trying to pull from my stash to create a monthly kit. And while it was very helpful in February to have all of these things in this tray, I feel like it was easy because I have a lot of stuff that matched the Clementine, but to pull together a kit for other items, I just feel like it might be a little bit difficult. It is something that I'm going to try to continue to do, and I will share that process because I did find it helpful. So while January didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, definitely putting in the bigger photos helped. And then February came out great. I really loved the way February came out. I also in February started doing my journaling a little bit differently. And so you can see that in that card right there in the middle, the black and white card that has the journaling. That's how I'm doing my journaling now. And as we jump into setting up March, you will see that I have journaling cards that I am putting into March, even though I have none of my photos printed at that point for March. But I've been doing the journaling like this and I've really been enjoying it. So I'm not exactly positive what I'm talking about in this clip because I didn't have any audio to this and I thought that I did. So that's why I'm voiceovering. So I'm not positive what I was saying. The major part of this video is going to be me setting up March. So I am back after a few weeks, taking a few weeks off for a minor procedure that I had, and I had to do some resting, and it took me a little bit of time to recover, and I couldn't really sit down in my office here to create. And I don't know, some of not being able to create definitely has added to my frustrations with Project Life. And it's really weird for me because, like I said, Project Life, my family album, is my most favorite project. I complete it always in a really reasonable amount of time. I start the new one at the very beginning of the year, and I really love it. So in the month of March, you are going to see I'm going to do a couple things a little bit different. I'm going to do a Project Life spread that is a week. So where I took a photo, basically one photo a day, you're going to see that insert as I'm just trying to figure out what it is that is not working for me and continuing to do it, because the project itself, Project Life, and doing a monthly / yearly family album is something that I really love. So here I am showing you how I pick. Currently, last year and this year, I used older core kits that I have. I have my core kits stored in this box. It is from IKEA. Unfortunately, they discontinued this box literally the week I purchased the boxes. I ordered them and had them shipped to my house. Thank goodness, I ordered like 18 of them and had them shipped to my house. And then the very next week I went to find them to link them and they were discontinued. It is a box that has these dividers that you can they're basically like 3x4 squares, but you can manipulate them and, put them in different ways. And so I have all of my 4x6 cards in the middle, and then the 3x4 cards on the sides. And then I have several core kits in one box, which is really nice. This is some older core kits by Stampin' Up. So many moons ago, Becky Higgins teamed up with Stampin' Up, and we had kits, or Stampin' Up had kits. I say we because I used to work for Stampin' Up. We had kits that were called Project Life by Stampin' Up, I think is what it was called, and I had several of these. I really liked the kits. I know that Stampin' Up, I don't know currently, but then after we had Project Life core kits, we had Memories and More. But those Memories and More kits, I always said and felt like they were geared more towards card making. They really were not geared towards memory keeping, and I really didn't like them. Now these that I have here, this is one of the kits. I liked these kits. They were more geared towards memory keeping, and that is probably because they were teaming up with Becky Higgins and she was really involved. This is another set of cards that I have, and I just was flipping through them. This is not one that I'm going to use, but I also pulled out a kit that I'm going to use for May when I was looking through this box of stuff. It's this kit right here. This is 52 Fresh. It was a core kit. And the last several years, I've been using older core kits because I have so many of them, and they're beautiful. I love them. And so I've just been using them. I used them all last year, and then all this year I am planning on using them. So I did set this kit out, the 52 Fresh. I set that out to do in May. So you'll see that in May. For the month of April, I'm going to use this kit by Stampin' Up. Again, it's an old kit. I can't link it. I don't even, it's not available anymore, because this was years ago. I mean, it was probably 10 years ago that these kits were out, the one that I'm going to use. It is bright, so it has this orange and this peach color. The nice thing is that I have a lot of cardstock, and I have ink pads that will match all of this, so that will be really nice. If I need to add supplement anything, I will be able to do that, which will be really nice. I do like the colors. It has that like coral color and peach color, of course the teal color that I like. There are a couple things in here that I probably will not use very heavily, like the sticker. It says she believed she could, so she did. I won't necessarily need to use that, but I will use some of these stickers. And then I did, before I started putting together March, the first thing I did is I organized this kit a little bit, and you're going to see a tiny clip, just a small clip of me doing that. I always like to be organized with my cards so that I can use them quickly. I also think it's a really good idea when you are digging into like an older kit that you have to just, skim through it and see what stuff you have. I wanted to get an idea of what stickers I had left. You can see that there's a lot of like repeat, like the numbers, like I'm not going to probably use those numbers a ton, and I probably won't use that she believed she could, so she did sticker, but there's a few others that I will definitely use. I love the colors of this kit for the month of April. And so all I did was organize this a little bit better. I was surprised it wasn't organized because most of my core kits in those boxes are very organized. But this was also helpful. I haven't looked at this kit in years. I mean, probably more than 5 years I haven't looked at this kit. So it was really nice to go through it. There are some cards that are all black, and I will sprinkle those through it. And then I also piled together the cards I really like and the ones that I don't really like. And that's going to save me, again, it's going to save me time as I'm going through the month and putting this together. So this is how I always do all of them. I just lay them out. I look at the front and the back, and then the card that is facing up is the card that I like. I went to my stash of 12 by 12 paper, and I pulled out this polka dot piece of paper. Now the nice thing is that because this is a old Stampin' Up kit, I have a lot of basic Stampin' Up pattern paper like this polka dot piece. So it was very easy for me to go to that stash of paper I have and pull out something that would work. This is going to go behind my calendar. So I will need to cut this down. And then you can see right in that pocket, I have my journaling cards. So these are cards that I put together throughout the month of March. And when I would get done with a set of them, I would trim them up and get them ready. And then I would just stick them in the back of the calendar pocket there that I have. And then now when I am going to get all of March, like the foundation of March put together, I always call this my foundation pages because it's the very beginning of the start of the layouts. So I would just stick that in that pocket, and then as I put these cards together and I put all of the pieces together and the page protectors that I want, I will put in the journaling cards. I do 4 journaling cards at a time because that's what fits on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that it's then printed on. So I will just put together my cards. I will put 4 on a like a piece, like a paper, or, you know, a template, a setup. And then I do the journaling. And then when I have 4 of them complete, then I print them out, trim them up, and then I just slip them in the pocket. So here is my March calendar. This is just something that I do. If you've been around for a while, you know I've always done this in all of my scrapbooking albums, my kids' albums, our family albums. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. And it's just a way for me to document a few things that have happened that maybe I'm not doing layouts for. It's fun to look back and see. There's been times I've tracked like my husband's work hours when he was in a job where he worked long hours and was on call. I would track it on this calendar, and it was fun to look back and see the difference in like the different hours that he worked during that time. And then if you watched one of my videos just recently on one of my calendars, it might have been in last week's video of my larger prints, where I just took 3 photos. It was in August of last year. It was the kids going back to school. I hadn't filled out that calendar, and I had 3 photos of the kids on the front porch for back to school photos, and I just added them right to my calendar. And I had originally thought I would go back and do a traditional page, but that just didn't, I just never did. And so I just added them to the calendar, and that worked out. I also have stamped on my calendar. Over the years, you've seen me do lots of different things with these calendars. I've stamped on them and used all of my stamps. I have added photos. I oftentimes like to add pattern paper and make, for July one year, I added a corner pocket to the calendar, and I added my some tickets that we had to our county fair. One year I added a couple ribbons that I had won for some of my scrapbooking stuff at our local fair. I added them right to the calendar because where else am I going to put them? I'm not going to hang up like these cheesy ribbons anywhere in my house, but it was really fun that I had won. I think I won first place and then second place on one. And so I just added them to that calendar. So it just is a great place. And then on the back of that calendar, I often will do layouts, or I will add memorabilia or different things to the back of it. So it just makes a great place for some extra things that happen in life that you can put on there. So now I'm just going through the cards. The great thing about these cards is they're not corner rounded, so I can just pop them in to the page protectors, and I don't have to worry about cutting them down and taking off the rounded part of the corners. So that is really nice. It just is one less thing to have to do this month. I do have to trim a couple of them down because the pockets are not always exact. You know, sometimes you have to trim off a little sliver. So here are my journaling cards, and the first thing I'm going to do is just look through them to see what I journaled about and where they need to go. So for the most part, I know when I'm taking photos throughout the month, if I have a insert page that I'm going to do. So for instance, Kayla was taking her driving test in April. I'm sorry, this month. She just did it this week. And I will have a whole spread about that. So when I do a journaling card about her taking her driving test, I will know that that journaling card goes in that insert. Because I do Project Life monthly, I create inserts. So I will tell certain stories that stand out. And so I will just pop that journaling card into that insert once it's done. I hope that made sense. If you have questions, please let me know. Oh my word, I quickly paused my voiceover because three huge, like passenger sized planes flew over our house so low. I've never seen the underside of a plane so closely as I just saw, and it scared me to death. That was the craziest thing that's ever happened. Okay, so back to my video. I'm so sorry, you guys. You will probably see the photo show up because I ran out there to take photos of these planes that were so low. Okay, so here is the calendar. I don't even know what I was saying because that was a total distraction. Here is the calendar after I added all of the writing onto the calendar. So those are just different appointments we had. The washi tape on the calendar is marking our spring break because we were out of school for that week. We had spring break. And then I'm just adding these stickers. There were lots of stickers that I could use from the sticker sheets for my calendar, and it worked out really well. I loved the flowers in the corner, and then I loved putting the hello on the bottom. And then afterwards, when I was done putting this together, I realized I put Hello March up top, and then I did that really large hello at the bottom. It's a little bit excessive to have both hellos on there, but I just didn't realize that I really wanted that color down there. And I see that there's lots of hellos on the sticker sheet. And then this was just giving me a little bit of an issue. I use my X-Acto knife to put stickers down. You can use tweezers, like even just a cheap pair of tweezers from like Target. You know, you can pick them up for like, I don't know, $2. You can use those. Those are really nice. That hello is still crooked, but nobody judge me. Okay, it's okay. We just won't look at that. But I use my X-Acto knife. And then I had thought that I probably could have used this little strip right here to mark spring break. I ended up just adding it to the top there. And it worked out fine. The black and white looks really nice with this kit. And I recently picked up a set of black and white washi tape. I needed just some black and white, and I had ran out. And I actually picked it up on Amazon. And if anybody is interested, I can share a few of the things that I've recently picked up on Amazon. The way that I purchase crafting supplies is so different now. When I was with Stampin' Up! And I was a full-time demonstrator, I purchased crafting product, like things, every single month, whether it was stamps or paper or embellishments. I was purchasing every single month. And now I don't purchase, like I purchased a few things from Amazon recently, and it was because like I needed some black and white washi tape, and then I needed some twine, and there was a few things I needed, so I placed a small order on Amazon. And then recently Concord and Ninth came out with a couple new colors, and I was thinking about placing an order with them. But it's really just when I need something, I pick it up, you know? So I put the rest of my journaling cards that didn't fit anywhere specific, I put them in the back of that pocket. And then over in the corner, you can see that I have my photos opened on my phone, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out which insert pages I will need. So I know that I'm getting ready to put in my large print order, so I knew I was going to need a few page protectors that were open, like I needed a 9 by 12. And then I'm just looking through the photos that I have, and I'm trying to decide which extra page protectors I need. And then it will be also at this point, when I'm putting March together right here, I will make the decision to do a week, like a week style project life. So I do it monthly, meaning I just group things together. So like Kayla had her driving test at the beginning of April. I will probably do that in a 6 by 8 page protector, and I will highlight that story. So that is the way you do monthly. If you're doing weekly, then you are most likely taking a picture just about each day. So, on Monday you take a photo, on Tuesday you take a photo, and then you add a page protector that will say week whatever, like week 13. Now, I will end up doing a weekly layout, and I will do that in a 9 by 12, and you will see that I was again trying to figure out exactly why I was struggling with doing project life. And so I trimmed this page protector down, and you can see that it's the top and the bottom are open. And I thought, well, I could always use my fuse tool, and I could close that if I want to use this size. And then I thought, well, why am I going to go through all that work? I have a ton of 9 by 12 page protectors from Ali Edwards that I could just use instead. So then I thought, well, maybe I could do something creative, and I could cut this in half and then maybe add some washi tape at the end, and I would have this little sliver of like 2 inches. That could be fun. And then I thought, no, that's too much work. I know I'm not going to go through all of that. It's going to annoy me. So I went ahead and I just cut it in half. That's a design A cut in half. And it's for one of the stories that I want to highlight for the month of March. So you can see that I'm putting in the page protectors. One of the things that I've played around with a little bit, or I thought about or tried to think through in the month of March, was exactly why I was struggling. What is it that is a struggle with this project? I know I love the project. I know I want to keep doing it. Sometimes when you're struggling with a project, it's because you don't want to do it anymore. And that's okay. I was struggling years ago before I found Project Life, before I found the pocketed style. I was struggling with traditional layouts. I was struggling to keep up with all the layouts that I wanted to do. Our family album, all 3 of my kids, doing these elaborate 12 by 12 traditional layouts. I was struggling to keep up, and I didn't want to do it anymore, but I wanted to keep doing memory keeping. I didn't want to not memory keep. And then I was on YouTube actually watching a video as I was creating, and Becky Higgins' video for Project Life came up, and I fell in love with the pockets and the ease of memory keeping. And so I switched, and while it was hard, it's not always easy when you switch up what you're doing. It took me several months to find a good rhythm. So same thing when I stopped doing Project Life weekly and I moved to monthly. It did take me a couple months to find the right groove for me, but it was the right move, right? I all of a sudden was struggling doing weekly. I couldn't keep up. I wasn't enjoying it. I switched to monthly, and immediately I was like, this was what is needed. So with your memory keeping, if there is something that you are feeling frustrated about, or you're finding yourself not wanting to do it, think through why. So right here, you see I put week 13 because I knew the following week, so this was before week 13, I knew the following week what I was going to do was take a picture every single day. And one of my inserts for March was going to be a weekly Project Life. Now that did a couple things, and I'll talk more about that when you see me put together that particular week, but it did a couple things for me. It helped me do something a little bit different, and it helped me think through what I was doing. And then it also helped me to take more photos, because one of the things I was struggling with was taking photos. I was feeling like I was forgetting to take photos, or I would sit down to put together the month, and I wouldn't have very many photos. And so it really gave me the ability to just try something out, and it encouraged me to take photos, and it made me feel really excited again to take photos. So never be scared to take a risk or try something different in your memory keeping. At the very worst, you just won't do it, right? At the very worst, the worst thing that could have happened is I wouldn't have had enough photos to do a full weekly spread because I didn't take enough photos, or I didn't engage in it, or whatever that looked like, right? So what it allowed me to do was get into my camera more, pull out my phone more, and snap photos. And actually what I think I'm doing right here is I think I've already done the weekly documenting, and I picked the page protector, and then I'm writing which photo will go where, or I might even be in the middle of that week. So when I write Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's like those days haven't happened, but I know that's what will go in that pocket. I'm a big fan of using sticky notes and planning things out. I feel like I'm really in between from like the major planner of like I'm going to plan out every photo and every page protector to like, but I also do a little bit of planning. So I feel like there is a middle ground that you can find, and it just depends on what you're needing. For years and years, I've done Project Life, and I've not encountered any problems, and I just have a system and it's worked well. I'm struggling right now with things that aren't working, so I'm just exploring what can I do? What is not feeling great right now? And some of it is I feel like I'm forgetting to take photos. I'm just not reaching for my camera as much. I oftentimes will feel like my life is so boring. Like it's just, we do the same things every week, and we eat the same things, and we go the same places, but there's still life that you're living that's worth documenting. And you can always do things like do a week where you take a photo of what you eat. So every day snap a photo of something you're eating. Probably you will find that it's different than what it was like 10 years ago, or it'll be different than what it is in 5 years. Or take a photo of every place you drive, or your outfits for the week, or like whatever it is. You can do these fun themes that can just help kickstart that memory keeping excitement again, because sometimes it can get a little bit repetitive, particularly Project Life, right? So the next thing I'm doing is just adding a little bit of color to the bottom of this card. I really like these stripes here and the color. So I'm just adding it to the bottom of the card. And again, as I just try to use up my supplies, I'm going to cut my cards up. I'm going to use them in different ways so I can actually use them and get through them. So I'll cut that and then just trim it up, and then I'll use it either to place a photo. That's the other thing I've been doing, is printing photos out that are smaller and putting them on the 3x4 cards, or doing photos in the 3x4 size and using them that way. So I hope you enjoyed seeing me set up March. Next week, we will dive in to adding my photos to March and doing each one of the inserts, and you will see that. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me this week, and I will catch you next week for Project Life Weekly. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that you can check out if you would like. If you're a member watching this video and you've missed any of the member videos, or you're new, you can go back and watch older member videos if you would like. Thank you so much for checking out my video, and I will catch you in my very next project.